You might be sabotaging your gains without even realizing it. You're doing all the right exercises, but are you doing them in the right order? Because that can make the difference between real progress and a lot of wasted time. This video is for you if you're not a professional athlete, but a busy person who wants to get stronger, leaner, and healthier with every single session that you spend in the gym, without needing a PhD in sports science. Guys, I coach everyday people who want to look and feel amazing. I'm a big science guy, but I'm also a big world experience guy. And I want to help you train smarter. So today, we're talking about exercise order and why it really, really matters. When we are putting together a workout, the order of the exercises isn't just guesswork. You don't just go into the gym and just, do whatever. Traditionally, coaches do the big compounds lift first. Your squat, your deadlift, your bench presses. Then go and focus on the isolation work, the smaller muscles. Does that make sense? Well, maybe it did for a while, but new research is shaking things up a little. So some scientists now say what matters the most is what you want to grow or get stronger at. That muscle group, that's what matters. You need to work that one first, period. Multi-joint exercises like squats, for example, involves a lot more muscles and a lot more joints. They're big, they're demanding, but are they effective? Could those exercises be affecting your performance later in the session? Potentially. Guys, fatigue doesn't just happen in the muscle. It also happens in your brain and your nervous system. And that matters because exercises you do later in your session might not activate the muscles fully. If we think of an exercise like the squat or a bench press or a deadlift, these multi-joint exercises don't just work one particular muscle. They've got a few muscles that are working at the same time, few joints that are working at the same time, and that can cause a huge amount of fatigue. Now, if your goal is to train, for example, quads, is really the squat the best movement to do at the beginning of the session? Probably not, because of all these variables that we're thinking about. Fatigue doesn't just happen in the muscles, it also happens in your brain and nervous system. And that matters, because exercises you do later in your session might not activate your muscle fully due to the fact that you've created a huge amount of fatigue at the beginning of the session. So we have to be very, very smart with how we pick our exercises based on what we're trying to improve. So how do you decide what goes first? First, ask yourself this question: what muscle do I most want to grow or get strong at? And train that first. If your goal is, for example, bigger triceps, not just a bigger chest, obviously don't start with a bench press. Start with a tricep extension. It's pretty simple, right? You'll hit them fresher with better recruitment and a lot more chances of growth because it's at the beginning of the session. So here's a few examples for you. If you're starting with the leg day, quads is your priority, start with the leg press or leg extension, focusing on the quads. If, for example, glutes are your priority, start maybe with a hip thrust or a glute drive. If chest is your priority, start with a machine chest press. Really good. However, if shoulders is your priority, then again you can do a shoulder press machine. If triceps is your priority, start with tricep pushdowns. All movements that you can connect with, movements that are going to be efficient, movements that are going to work the muscle to the best of its ability, and movements that are going to be at the beginning of the session that are going to allow you to get the most out of that muscle group that you're trying to improve on. If this helped you rethink how you structure your own workout, hit like and subscribe. I'm here to make science simple and training effective. Drop a comment below and tell me, what do you want to prioritize in your next workout?